Welcome to another dose of SirToshi's podcast. I have here with me today the F-in farmer. We're just going to be chatting about Bitcoin and the state of the world and what's going on with farming and stuff like that. Doing the usual. I'm very much looking forward to this. So before we start, experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's cue the music.
SirToshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the terror node, you'll surely see.
There we go. The F-in farmer, are you there?
How's it going, Toad?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Do you want to just, we chat privately quite a lot, which is great. But obviously the audience who's listening to this now probably don't have a clue who you are. So if you just want to tell them what you want them to know, and then we can start, that'd be good.
Should we say how we met?
Yeah, mate. Go for it.
Right, so basically I'm a farmer that is also been in cryptocurrency for a very long time. Since 2015, and made lots of money, lost a lot of money. Had some absolute, serious fuck ups. Me and you've discussed most of it.
Yeah.
And then through my outrageously disgusted gripes with agriculture, I decided to create something called the F-in Farmer to sort of release my rage, as it were, and my annoyances, which I started a TikTok, and it's on Instagram and other places if people want to go and see things that I say about stuff just the way I want to say it. And I was trying to invoke a mass demonstration over the whole UK by gathering enough momentum, and across 3 or 4 apps I managed to get to about 40,000 people, but not necessarily the right ones I required because I needed farmers. And I wanted to do like an ice bucket challenge of shutting down the whole UK by farmers and anyone in the public going out on any road and just stopping their car, which by law we can hold up traffic for any reason for 20 minutes on any public highway, whether it is to change a tyre or unload a vehicle, blah, blah, blah. And bring the country to a halt, but I didn't quite get the momentum that I required.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky though, because when you're trying to raise, there's 2 ways to raise awareness, and that is by interrupting people, which generally people don't like because they have a gripe against you, or actually try and get on their side. And the cabal do it by, as they said, bright colours and musical tones. That's how they do it. That's why you get all these like singing and dancing school musicals, and celebrities singing about getting the jab and all this, and like singing about getting vaccinated and all this kind of stuff. And unfortunately that technique works. Because people feel as though they're being empowered, like being heroes. Get vaccinated, yay!
Well, that's why I was trying to make it inclusive to anyone, but I just couldn't get enough. Because I'd worked out the math on the M4 being shut for like 3 hours, which was like a cost of like 4.6 million. So I figured out, like, if you could shut every road in the country, what that would cost governments and corporations would be astronomical. So that was my theory. That's what I tried to do. It failed. It didn't get momentum. But that's how you and I met.
well, I wasn't involved in that protest, but
No,
I was.
You weren't involved in that bit, but you came trying to help farmers, and then you found me, and then we started talking and coming up with different thought processes. Like after that first failure, which I learned a lot from you. So for listeners, I came to BSV quite a while ago, not as long as most listening have probably been in it, but about 8 to 10 months ago. So I'm probably relatively new, maybe 12 months ago, from watching a YouTuber called Rubicon, which was talking about Craig Wright. And I came from like the sort of repertoire that, in in 2017, I was like an anti Craig Writer and an anti Big Blocker and
Oh
an
yeah.
anti. I was sold. Honestly, I was completely sold the fucking marketing ploy that all the big hedge funds did on selling everyone BTC. I didn't buy BTC because I was like, it's too expensive and doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So I never bought BTC. But I was also very like, I can't. No one can trust Craig Wright because people told me to.
because Aussie man bad and he's a scam.
Exactly.
He's a liar and a fraud.
Exactly. Like I've had to go down the path that I've been on to understand that, quite frankly, the things that are fudded the most are the most valuable.
Mm.
And I've learned that by seeing things like, let's say Solana's a shit coin, but it got fudded crazily and then it pumped back up. And I did send you a link on that yesterday, I think it was, on actually how much that could cost Solana very soon, because the way Solana prints high interest on it or something like that. I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah, they've got like 15% inflation every year.
That's it, inflation. My bad. So seeing things like that. So then I bought 5 BSV from watching the Rubicon, and I sort of left that as like a little hedge pot, not really pay much attention to it, just in case thing. And then we met, and then you gave me all this info, and I was like, I can't unsee what now I've seen, because you told me, and then I went off researching, and then it was like, wow, that's true, that's true, that's true, that makes sense, and I've been through all the crypto I was in the Cardano pump, I was in the Solana pump, I was in the Gala pump.
Oof! Wow.
Yeah, don't think it was all great. I was in the Phantom pump twice, and then I fucked it all.
So what's yeah? I mean, tell everybody your crypto story, because I love hearing these, because honestly, mate, it was It was like something the world had never seen before, like ever.
Yeah.
Like suddenly you've got this thing that started at less than a cent,
Yeah.
point three of a cent, and then it was worth 400 quid, and then people were just like, oh, it's going to be worth $40,000. People just like, no way.
Yeah.
And then it goes up and up and up, and then there's all this speculation, and then all the shit coins jump in and all this. I mean, like, it was sensational.
Yeah.
What did you think of it all while it was going on?
When I was riding high on the train of pure pleasure, it was great. But I managed to sell out a lot of it, and I was in that stage. I got to that happy point. I was like, I'm happy with what I got, blah blah blah, and then the market dropped.
Did you make it across the 1 mil mark?
Yes, I did.
Oh, and you lost it.
And I lost it.
Oh no, mate, heartbreaking. But
I did take out all the money I put in,
nice.
So I am playing with the house's money.
Good.
So that's the only good thing. Apart from I have put some of my money that I took out back in on BSV, because it makes perfectly good sense to me, and I'm calmer now holding BSV than I was. I'm not selling anyone BSV. Everyone do what the hell they want with their money, but I am calmer now than when I was trading Cardano, Solana, and like shitting myself every time it went up and down.
Yeah.
And other than listening to certain podcasts and like yourself and you and Tramp battling it out, and SirToshi I find really interesting, and Swan. Other than listening to just more stuff, I'm not trading, which is so much nicer. It, like, psychologically, it's not such much, like, before it's like a head fuck. Oh, Cardano's up like 56% in a day. Oh fuck, right, sell out of it. Oh, jump in the Gala. jump into this, do that, sell this, buy that. Like, it was a nightmare. Like, it was a good learning curve. I wish I didn't have to learn the hard way, but yeah, it if I hadn't, the only way I sort of put it now is if I hadn't gone through all those hard learning curves that I had to go to, I wouldn't have got to where I am now, and I wouldn't have met you, because I wouldn't have started the effing farmer. I wouldn't have started those videos. I wouldn't have gone online trying to help agriculture, and you wouldn't have found me trying to help agriculture. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, absolutely,
So,
mate, absolutely.
If I hadn't gone through what I've been through, I wouldn't be here. I'd been doing something different.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite unusual to get a farmer being involved in crypto. So you must have quite an entrepreneurial mindset in order to be a farmer and then suddenly find crypto. It's not the usual combination.
Yeah, I'd never call myself an entrepreneur. I like to build stuff, and I like to look forward, and I like to look forward faster. And agriculture, quite frankly, is a shit show. It's been a shit show for a long time. Farmers are basically paid the dole, which is, in agriculture terms, the single farm payment. The single farm payment basically pays you to abide by government rules. By playing by government rules, you can only do so much stuff. I would say 20 to 25% of food is thrown away a year before it leaves the field. You know, the cost of living pisses me right off, because I know there's farmers in loads of places scraping the barrel trying to survive, and then there's customers scraping barrel trying to survive, and there's a link there in the middle somewhere, because the supermarkets will fine a farmer for, let's take broccoli or cauliflower. If it's too big, they won't take it and sell it. If it's too small, they won't take it and sell it. It's got to fit through these like special hoops or certain size hoops, and if it doesn't fit in that hoop, the supermarket won't take it. So therefore, the supermarket won't buy it, which means
my God,
you could have this monstrous cauliflower that could probably feed a family of 6 that gets binned in the field.
Oh my God.
Isn't that mental? And like, when it comes to, like, you know, we signed to leave the EU, but we're still in the EU because cattle grading is still done on the EU's grading system. So if a cow is too fat, like, let's face it, a farmer has no control really on the genetic print of the animal that is born.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can do your best. You can put the best bull with the best cow, or the best ram with the best sheep, right? But you can't. The imprint of genetic material that comes from that pairing, you have a chance of making a good selection of it, but not necessarily best. So if your animal's too fat when it goes to slaughter, you get fined and deducted.
Oh my God! Seriously, by who? The supermarkets?
Yeah, right.
They fine you.
Yeah, the supermarket and slaughterhouse. If it is too thin and it doesn't have enough fat coverage, you get fined. Right.
Oh my! And what kind of level of fine are we talking about? As in, like, they
a deduction. So
right.
if you're, like, usually it's paid in pounds per kilo. So if you're being paid £4.50 a kilo for your beef, you could suddenly then be down to £4.10
on that particular
on per kilo. So you're losing 40 pence a kilo.
Oh my God.
Over like 280 to 300 kilos for like a carcass. If you're losing 40p per kilo,
yeah, that's
right?
huge.
Because someone's not happy with the fat content, or it's overly muscled, or it's bruised because it bruised itself in the lorry on the way, the farmer takes the hit.
Oh, and when did the state of the market get like this? I mean, this is tyrannical.
It's been like this for years. It's been like this since I'm 38, and it's been like this since I was 25, 26. when it changed.
Right. So they're so what you're saying is they're gradually squeezing the farmers.
They're squeezing the farmers everywhere. Like as I said, you've got grain prices that fluctuate and can get mashed through the floor just because of the stock market, because it's all on the commodities market.
Yeah.
So all it takes is some fucking hedge fund decide that they don't want to pay very much for wheat next week, and they can floor the price. Simple as that.
God.
Like, and as I said about the vegetables, if the vegetables don't meet the criteria of what the supermarkets want, and people hear about wonky veg in Morrison's now, well, that's a load of bollocks, because they're still throwing stuff away because it's too big and too small. They're just picking out the reasonable size, but it looks a bit weird. So yeah, it's outrageous. The cost of living is a joke, because farmers are being unable to sell at least 20 to 25% of what they are growing or producing, because a supermarket refuses to sell it to a customer that probably couldn't give a crap but wants to buy it. And it's not just the UK; that is global. Like, I talk to guys in America through my other channel, because I have got another social media platform outside the effing farmer, and I talk to farmers all around the world, and they all say the same things.
Oh my God.
Even eggs. If an egg isn't the right size, it doesn't go in the box. It gets sent as wholesale price to restaurants, or for like cooked goods in factories, going into cakes and shit like that.
Yeah, and did you, again, somebody pointed out the other conspiracy. I mean, we're on this cost of living crisis and everybody's being squeezed, but did you see the Tesco profit? The Tesco profits are basically are up by about 200%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were like before. I think they were like under $1 billion to over 2 billion, like 2.6 billion, something like that.
Well, it's like everything, isn't it? Like, Tesco's are making ridiculous profits. Phone networks are making ridiculous profits. Fuel companies are making ridiculous profits. And the poor person on the street is just having to suffer because they don't have other options. Because I've talked to you, I've been trying to get in touch with Block Dojo. I've been able to put a like direct farm to fork solution for food for people that could be all on blockchain.
Great idea. Like
a customer could see exactly where their food comes from, exactly what it's being grown with, right? And you can then build trust between consumer and farmer. Because at the moment, no one knows who the fucking farmer is.
Yeah. Well, are you familiar with the People's Food and Farm Alliance?
Yeah. I deal with them.
Excellent.
I deal with them. I talk to them quite a lot. Something else on that. What I was just saying there is, I've lost my train of thought now. Bollocks.
We're talking about tracing, being a Block Dojo, tracing food, People's Farm and Food Alliance.
Oh, getting building a trust between farmers and consumer. Oh, that's where I was going with it. Is lots of people aren't aware that a lot of the companies, when they go buy their fruit and veg, or beef, or milk, or cheese, cream in Tesco's, when it says, like, one of the best ones, Rose Farms, which is one in Tesco's, which do veg, doesn't exist.
Huh.
Right? There are fake food companies or fake farms selling as food companies in supermarkets. So when a consumer goes to buy Rose Farms tomatoes and Brown Farms apples and Cotswold Farm this, they're all bollocks. They're all fictitious, made up farms.
Oh my God.
Have I not talked? We not talked on that conspiracy. Well, it's not even a conspiracy. It's well documented now.
I mean, not specifics like that, but I mean, same with all these clothing. The cheap clothing companies. They they say they sell top brands. You go in there, you can find the odd top brand amongst all the other clothes there, and then there are other brands there that you've never heard of, but they kind of sound like their designer, and you're like, I'm wearing this. This must be, but it's not. They're literally just cheap shit clothes sold for cheap shit prices in cheaper shit shops, chip shops. With the odd rejected premier brand, thrown in amongst them to fool you into thinking that you must be dealing with loads of other sort of rejected brands.
The sad thing about all the cheap stuff is when you buy it and you don't think about it like this. Effectively, when you buy it, and I look at money like a voting slip. So you basically have bought that valuing who made them to be that low. Do you know what I mean? Which is a sad way to look at things, but it's a bit of a reality check. Like if you're gonna go for the £2 vest, someone made that at a fraction of that price.
Yeah.
But that's how you value that person. Even if you don't know them, that's still how you value that person. Because everyone makes stuff.
Yeah, I actually remember going into a supermarket and buying a shirt and tie. And I have to confess, a quality shirt, a quality tie. But this thing in the package was like £3.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god! So this was a full-on tie and a full-on manufactured shirt.
Yeah.
And beautifully packaged as well. And I was just like, how? This has got to be slave labour. This has got to be child slave labour making this, because it was just insane. Because then you've got the shop selling it for £3. So the maximum profit the shop is going to make on that is £3 if it didn't cost them anything to start with, and which means the wholesaler who was selling it is probably selling it for maybe pennies.
Yeah.
And then out of that pennies that they're selling it for, they've got to pay staff wages and overheads.
Yeah, it doesn't compute, does it? So it's sort of like if all this sort of stuff was blockchain, there'd be a layer of truth that we can all actually work with. Yeah,
absolutely. And then also people wouldn't be able to pay slave labour. In fact, you would be able to see what they're paying their staff. And in fact, this is one of the things that I'm quite looking forward to if we win this battle, provided we don't all end up in like concentration camps and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And that is that there always has to be someone at the top distributing enormous amounts of funds, literally sending billions and billions, and then it gets filtered down. It has to. It's the only way, because it has to come from a central source. So there has to be an administration, within the army, within the military, distributing funds out to the soldiers, to the weapons manufacturers, to the colonels, to the generals, blah 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 blah. We're gonna see where these big payments are coming from and who's making them. Who's pulling the strings at the top? Who is it that's behind the curtain?
But it's exactly what's needed. Like, I think everyone at this point in time, in the way the world is, want to be able to see where taxes go, where, how much money Tesco is making and why.
And also,
sort of needs to be documented.
Who's paying these politicians to make them so ignorant and dumb that they can't define what a woman is?
Don't get me started on that one. This PC culture needs to piss off, doesn't it? Like, let's be honest.
Mate, what we need is somebody like Yvette Cooper. We need to sit down and right, Yvette Cooper, can you define who you are? Biologically, what would you say? Oh, yeah, are you a woman? Yeah, all right, so what's a woman then? Because she is far left communist.
Did you see that Harley Davidson last week went woke?
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, one of the most manliest, male, masculine, testosterone-infused bike companies last week at the main bike show in America had two people on the stand being two of the guys there to watch the bikes. That's it. There was no everyone boycotted Harley Davidson.
Oh, what? They had trans people like watching the bikes or something?
Well, no, they put up like Harley Davidson now is, represents all people, all genders, and all this stuff, and basically went woke. And then when it got to the bike show, all the bikers were like, nope, not going there. Harley Davidson bikes basically plummeted in value. And they even had Sean Strickland, the UFC fighter, put a video up online of basically, do I burn my Harley Davidson or do I sell it? vote below and I'll do it.
Oh my God. Well, the thing is, I mean, I wonder when this craziness is going to stop, because I was thinking, I mean, how many rounds and series have we had? I mean, first of all, there was like Black Lives Matter, and then it was just like, well, hold on a minute. What if you're not black? What if you're Chinese? What if you're Asian? What if you're white?
It's just division, isn't it? It's just division. Like,
yeah. They've tried everything. I mean, like, what? Yeah, I mean, first of all, there was, what came before Black Lives Matter? There was feminists. So, first of all, they were, I mean, where are they now? Honestly,
they got sold down the road, didn't they?
Yeah, big time. So, all these empowered women going, oh, yeah, I'm a feminist. Oh, yeah, well, now you're transphobic. Oh, that shut them up, didn't it?
Well, it would be slightly sexist on feminism. Like, feminism is being sold the greatest lie, one of them ever, of life will be better being a feminist. You now have to go to work when usually the partner went to work and you got to be a stay-at-home housewife mum. Live the life of luxury, do what you want, look after children to an age, pretty much go and have like mother meetings or, housewives go out to lunch type stuff. But no, you all opted for work.
Yeah.
In that, I want to think of. And then I saw in Finland, I don't know if there's like a lack of men over there. The feminists are fighting for Finnish men to be able to marry more than one woman. That's legit. That is legit. I've seen that in four different sources in the last 7 days, and I was like, man, lucky Finnish guys.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm packing my bags already. I mean, I wonder when these people who are asleep are actually going to wake up. I mean, surely they must start smelling a rat at some point.
Like, we chatted in the green room before we come on, and I said to you about if anyone watched the Olympic opening ceremony and closing ceremony, and you don't think anything's up at the moment, I don't know if those people got hope. Like, if you haven't seen that and you can't like look up in the skies and go, why are there straight lines staying in the air for hours?
Yeah.
And why do they expand and get bigger? Do you know what I mean? If you can't start putting the dots together, you're living in a bubble that is just not going to pop. I don't think. I hope they do, but there's the other side of this coin. If it hits too hard too fast and they all wake up at the same time and they ingest all what most people have learned over years, you could see cities burning, quite frankly, couldn't you? It could all go off.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of the things I'm trying to avoid, because I mean that's obviously what they want. They want because they're only a small number, and the way they get away with it is that they shake the jar and set the ants in the jar off against one another.
Yeah.
And that's what they've always done, because it's oh crikey, what's the word they use? It's plausible deniability. Had nothing to do with me. What you did this and they did that. What's that got to do with me? And this is literally how they've been doing it for thousands of years. They are masters at their crafts, And it all comes down to the fact that they can economically incentivize people to do stuff because they own the central banking network. You know, they can print as much currency, and they own the tax HMRC basically is in their pockets as well. You know,
Yeah.
and all local councils. So it's kind of like until the people have a common money that they can use, we are going to be beholden to these financial overlords.
This is why, being a farmer and based in agriculture, I sort of went off looking for the whole. I know the decentralized terminology doesn't work with Bitcoin, but it doesn't matter. But I went off looking for that narrative of being able to move money without someone seeing it like so easily.
Oh, what got you interested in that?
Well, if they remove cash from us, farmers are quite used to having like 2 or 3 forms of like currency with ourselves. Well, if they take cash from us, that's losing one. So a digital cash for digital, micropayments, medium-sized payments is quite important. Just so like you can move stuff without, the secret gut jars of money. Everyone has them, don't they? Like,
yeah.
Everyone has a little pool of funds that they don't want Mr. Taxman to see. Well, agriculture, that's quite prolific. So finding solutions to that problem is quite a big deal.
Right.
So that's sort of what I went off looking for, is a way that, if I want to buy some sheep off someone and I don't want to do that with a bank card, I need to be able to do it somehow, and that person needs to get their value, and I need to get the sheep or cows or whatever tractor that I want. So that's part of the reason that I went off looking for it, and then I've just been like very anti-government, anti-establishment human being for a very long time. So
yeah. And are there many other farmers joining you on this journey?
I have probably got about 45 people to buy a few BSV.
Wow, brilliant, mate.
Which
brilliant.
It's not bad, is it? Like, anyone that I think I can help, and I don't advocate they go and put their life savings on it, because that's not fair on them, and it's also not fair on me to have all that pressure on me.
Yeah.
Everyone probably listening to this right now thinks they're making the right decision for them and their family, but when you start, and let's face it, it is giving people advice.
Yeah.
When you do that, you've got to take the implications that if you're wrong, you could ruin someone's life. So I've just, like, at the prices they are, I've said, like, look, somewhere between 2 and 10, and that's it. Anything after,
that's a huge amount. 10 Bitcoin. I mean, let's say if it goes up to the price of BTC, that's
exactly.
What
it's
500,000,
Yeah, that's life changing for someone, isn't it?
Absolutely,
Let's be honest. So I've advocated like between 2 and 10. If they go over that, that is on their decision, and that is, that's they've done that all on their own. That's their risk curve. And yeah, loads of them have just bought a couple, see what it does. Like, it's not going to hurt. It's probably better odds than buying a lottery ticket. Let's be honest.
Yeah, most definitely.
So yeah, I've got quite a few on it, and if I can get more on it, I'll just keep talking to people. But you've got to find the right sort of farmers, because farmers are as quite a lot most closed-minded as possible. And when you say a digital money system, they're like, oh, there's some sort of voodoo money. I just like cash. So it is quite hard trying to talk to them about it, because they're not that open-minded. They're used to dealing with what I'd call very real-world assets, being cows, sheep, land, tractors. They're very real stuff. So getting them to talking about, a digital money, which is basically noughts and ones, is quite hard. And it's quite hard for them to wrap their head around it. unless they're youngsters, because most of the ones I've had to sort of attack with youngsters, which is a little bit easier.
Right. And was BTC the first coin you ever purchased? Was that back in 2015? You said.
No, BTC was always out my price range
Oh.
of
Okay.
things that I wanted to buy. I know it was cheaper when I first got in, but I didn't see the value at it for what it did. I like holding something that is gold, but it's not gold. Didn't make sense to me even then. So I got in on Ethereum, was the first one. Ethereum, and then when Charles created Cardano, I did that because I figured, well, he's intelligent enough. He's done this, and he worked with Vitalik. And then I bought Polkadot, being another Ethereum guy. Gavin, was it Gavin Wood?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought some Polkadot, and then that started the ball rolling, and just went off down the rabbit hole, like everyone does.
What was the? So did you? Oh, right. So I mean, most people started off on Coinbase because it's a really easy to use site. What is that? Where you bought Ethereum?
I started on Coinbase, and then I soon ended up with, at that time, Bitfinex and what was the other one?
Bittrex.
Bittrex was the other big one at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, until they went out. Fortunately, I got all my whatever left breadcrumbs of funds out of that one. Yeah, fortunately, I never kept very much in Bittrex, but yeah. Coinbase, Bitfinex, Bittrex were my first ones. Then I added Binance. I don't use Binance anymore because I don't like CZ. There's a worrying character when that truth comes out.
Yeah.
Then I went down. Now I deal with, like, me and you have talked on different ways of getting BSV out for people because so many lined. So anyone listen to this, if you have got different methods on buying BSV that are easy for other people, put them in the comments for Tosh, because I've had people using Exodus, I've had people banned from Exodus.
Well, let's actually, it's kind of I do that. I network that information privately just because if the FCA get wind of what's going on, they will just simply shut it down, and it means that all those people who are currently using those methods and avenues are then going to be, shafted, basically.
Well, in that case, someone messages F and Farmer on Instagram, and then it's off the record, and then I'll talk to Tosh about it.
Nice. Yeah, mate, that's good.
But in this country now, Mexi's banned. The UK government have gone off banning a bunch of different platforms. I've still got Mexi because if you can have it if you've got a VPN, but some people don't even understand VPNs yet, do they? So there's too much trust in governments and society when it definitely shouldn't be there.
It's interesting that the FCA is the only financial regulator in the world to ban the purchase of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
There is no. I wonder if that's because they are aware of the number of people in Britain holding BSV.
Possibly. It'd be a good thing if there's enough of us, because then we can start fighting the fight back.
Well, yeah. I mean, we basically any country that has the largest concentration of BSV in amongst their citizens, they're gonna be the new the new financial elite, and if we're not, then we're all in concentration camps anyway. So we've got literally nothing to lose, especially at the price that it's at. But so when you first bought Ethereum, what price did you buy in at?
52 quid.
What, back in 2015?
Oh, 18 or 20 quid. Something like that.
Surely it must have been less than that. It must have been maybe less than 10.
or maybe I didn't get into like 2016, 2017. Like I remember something around about 20 quid mark when I first got into Ethereum. I don't know if I bought straight away. I did quite a lot of watching for a while, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know? I'll tell you something that was funny. I actually saw Ethereum when it was like $10, and didn't have a clue what it was. Didn't have a clue what I was getting into. Like completely ignorant of it. You know. And oh mate, I tell you the one when I did get into it. You know, one of the things because I was keeping an eye on the market, I actually looked at Cardano when it was like a penny.
Now Cardano, I can remember exactly because I bought Cardano all the way down from 22 to 2 pence after its first crash. Now that because I mustered up a lot of Cardano over the 4 years before the next cycle.
Right.
Ethereum, when I bought that, it wasn't very much, but I only had like maybe 50, 60 quid in the game at that point.
Right.
That's quite a while. I was like, it was quite a risky thing for me to start with. I didn't really throw a lot of money in it.
And were you on this journey on your own, or were you discussing it with a few mates? Well, like
no, on my own.
Really? Wow.
I've everyone that I've spoken to about it, especially down in the southwest, I never had anyone to talk to about it. No one was really interested in it. Everyone thought it was like, oh yeah, whatever.
No way.
The only people I've ever talked to crypto about are people that I've met across the internet.
Yeah, actually, that's similar to me. And to be honest with you, like almost, I mean, I've still got a core group of friends that I've had, you know, for years and years and years. But
yeah,
they most of them think I'm batshit bonkers right now. You know?
Exactly. Like until some of my mates, like two of my close mates, knew when I made, and I had when I made a lot, and they're like, "Oh, I've never seen like and that's all great, never seen so much money," but at the same time, when I sold out, it dropped really aggressively, and I thought, "Oh, I can make a killing here," so I bought all back in again. And it went up a little bit, then it dropped again, and then I ended up reverse engineering everything I did, because the sad thing about trading and you're doing really well is you get arrogant, and
it's called hubris.
Yeah, like it's not nice. I think back, and I wasn't an arsehole to anyone, but like I was like an arsehole to myself, and got really arrogant and over thinking I was better than I was, and and then you took this massive great hit in the guts of like, no you're not, the market is going to bring you back down to like ground. And I was like, and then after that I started thinking, right, I don't really want to trade anymore, I just want to look for some good projects that I could invest in and see what happens long term. And then my build back up, I found something called Casper a little while ago.
Oh yeah.
When it was at its low, and I sold all out of it, unfortunately, before it got to where it got to, which isn't the end of the world. Don't matter. I made enough, and then I turned what I made out of Casper into BSV.
Nice.
So now I'm pretty happy.
That's mate. That's a good story. Yeah, I was similar, you know, but I remember like when I first saw Cardano like came out, literally it was under 10 cents. I mean it was like a 2 cents. They were literally just been launched, and I was like, oh, this is interesting because I was researching just online, and I remember thinking like, because the first thing I checked on my phone in the morning, I was like, oh, what's this? And then I went through to the lounge and had breakfast and sort of started researching it while I was eating, and I was just like, holy shit, this could really be something. I mean, again, I didn't know what it was at the time. I was just going on at the names, you know, in it, and just thinking, looking at the price and thinking that's undervalued. And by the time I'd got into my office and turned on the computer, it had gone from a cent up to 10 cents. I was like, that's 10x while I've been having my breakfast. What the hell is going on? And I literally had all my funds on Bittrex at the time. So it was exactly where it needed to be. I literally,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, I'll do that as soon as I get down there. And I
Yeah.
had this urge of just like, you really should be doing it now. But I was just, well, I'm actually having my breakfast. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry or anything like that, you know. And like, oh mate, it was just one of these moments where I was just like, that would have been another opportunity to get me over the line, you know.
I've had a
God.
couple. I've had a couple like that. I've had a couple of instances where I've like, oh man, I missed out there. Cardano. I watched Cardano because in that first cycle it went to $1.20 or $1.12, something like that, and it went all the way back to 2 cents, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I watched it. I watched it all the time. It was literally. I only bought it because like Charles Hoskinson was part of Ethereum.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's the only
Yeah.
reason I was watching it. I didn't know what, as you said, I didn't know what it did.
The Ethereum killer.
Exactly. That is exactly what I thought of. And I was like, it went all the way down to 20 cents. I was like, I'm gonna buy some of this, just see what happens. And it went all the way down to 2 cents. I was like, buy, and I bought a shed load of it over time, and it went, and I sold it at $3.
Nice, mate. Nice.
And then I jumped into the Solana race for a bit, but only short term because I was doing proper novice sell your whole bag.
Yeah.
Use your whole bag to buy.
Yeah.
Proper. I'm not a trader. I was a full-on gambler, right?
Yep, yep.
So basically, we're all on red. We're going all on black. So I did that. I just tended to be in the right place at the right time for a while. So I went all Solana, and I only took that for about 40 cents worth. And then I started hearing stuff about Gala. Now, this one hurts, because Gala I bought at 30 cents, right? And I put a sell order at 80 cents, right? And I just left it there. And Gala went to, 89 or 90 cents? But if I'd not sold out early, right, and I left it there 48 hours longer, I would have had 1.8 million.
Oh.
Right? And to this day, that one really fucking hurts. Really fucking, because I had this rule is if I went over a mil, I'd bank the mil and then I'd just play with what was over the top.
How were you banking it? Were you cashing out into Tether or something?
Yeah, I would have just I would have banked it into something like that.
Yeah, but is that what you were doing? Because that's what I missed when I got into this. I saw millions flooding in and out of the market every day, and I was just like, how are they doing this?
Yeah,
you know, and I didn't know that Tether existed. I didn't know that there were things such as stable coins.
I knew Tether existed quite quickly because I was on Bitfinex.
Right, got ya.
And obviously they sort of created it, didn't they? So yeah, that was part of my run, and then I sold Phantom too early twice, which would have taken me up to Valhalla. Yeah, I had a few misses just through not going with my gut instinct, and my gut instinct was Gala was a complete fluke. Phantom, I was getting way more into charting then, and I had a belief where it was going and a gut instinct, but I still sold it early. And then after the last Phantom pump is where I started reverse engineering all my good, because the other thing I found was if you can listen to too many YouTubers, and all they talk about is the pump, the fucking pump, and they go, oh, when you get more than 5 sources of information all saying that they advocate that Bitcoin was going to go to like 100,000 and it didn't, that's where you put your marker, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And that's where I ended up putting my marker, and I thought it was going to go up, and they're all saying, oh, this is just a little drop and it's going up again. And that's when I got to the end of the last cycle of like, I've just got to go on what I think and stop listening to all these YouTubers. And I keep an eye every now and again. I'll listen to one or two, but I don't overdo it anymore. And I'm quite happy If BSV is wrong, I'm quite happy with that. My gut instinct says it's right. If anyone doesn't think Craig Wright is not Satoshi Nakamoto, well, they're just one of the ones that are never going to wake up to what else is going on in the world.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's too obvious.
Yeah,
Like,
really obvious.
He's the only man. He's the only guy that is, like, for me, something quite important. He's the only guy trying to defend the original plan.
Yeah.
No one else is doing it. Why? You know, he's got quite a bit of money. He had quite a bit of money before starting the whole thing. He did all right on other businesses. He didn't have to do this. So I always ask myself, like, the character of someone, why? Why are you fighting for something? Now, the only reason, like, a farmer would fight for their farm is because they own it, or they made it, or they created it. So it's the same thing for me with someone else. If he's fighting for it so badly and he wants to win, he made it. It's only outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Who are these other YouTubers that you were listening to? Because like I remember, like, when I got into this, I was literally devouring as much information as I could. Literally, I drove myself stir crazy, but yeah, and the reason I was doing this is because I just didn't get what anybody was saying. I was like, okay, like, particularly like Chico Crypto, for example.
Yeah, you know? I listened to Chico Crypto for a while until I just got annoying.
Yeah, he was just shilling all these shit coins.
Yeah, like,
and it was all this stuff, all these fancy stories, and I was at the end, I was just like, okay, it's you've talked a good talk.
Yeah.
It sounds good, but what the fuck does it do? You know, what is it?
Yeah.
What is this thing?
He upset me when he was like, he would totally diss Cardano because he was like a massive Ethereum fan. And I was like, well, I quite like the idea of Cardano being an Ethereum killer, so fuck you. I listened to Crypto Banter.
Oh yeah, I know those guys. Yeah.
BitBoy for a while.
Yeah.
Before he went off the rails and went mental.
Oh, I haven't listened to him for a long time, mate. What's happened to him now?
Oh well, he cheated on his wife, didn't he? And he went off. He went off smashing younger chicks. Then he tried to fight people. And then he with the Sam Bankman-Fried, he went to the island.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like, and then he was. Then he went on a steroid fix. Yeah, so I think fame got to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I listened to him for a while. There's the two brothers, what they called Crypto. Oh, Crypto R Us is another one I listened to for a while. Crypto. Oh, I can't remember. It's two brothers. They weren't actually bad. They gave quite a lot of good information. Elio Trades was another one. But as you say, like, when you go down the rabbit hole, you just listen to everything. And being in a tractor most of the day, I was listening probably 30, 35 shows a day.
Whoa.
Which gets a little bit sickening.
Obsessive.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, though, I was listening, and again, it was just like, I was just like, what am I missing here? Everybody else is sitting there talking about this thing, and they're talking about it so confidently, like as if they understand it through and through. And I'm just like, what am I missing? What am I missing? I don't get it.
But they all helped me out as well, because what did they all have in common? Every single one of them, apart from the Rubicon, that's different.
Don't know.
They all bash Craig Wright.
Really?
Every single one of them. They all bash Craig Wright. They all bash BSV, but they all say the same thing. Most money comes from where the most FUD is. So they're hypocrites to what they say.
Right. Well, the thing is, though, the ticker BSV didn't come about until 15th of November 2018.
Yeah. But like, it's still when that happened, and they did the hard forks, which we all know is bollocks.
Mm.
And since, it's like about 2 months ago, I watched a Crypto Banter episode, and they had a gag that they bought some BSV but didn't because it's a shit coin, and fuck Craig Wright, basically. And I was thinking, you're still at it? You're still doing it? And for me, like, when, I don't know if everyone remembers when the Solana crash happened. Solana crashed all to the floor. It was FUD, 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 FUD. It's no good anymore. And then suddenly, a week later, it's had a massive pump. Actually, they fixed all their problems, and Solana's really good again. Right? And it's not the first one. I'm trying to think of some of the others that sort of thing. Luna.
Oh,
we
God,
we all saw that one.
Yeah,
but it hit the mega deck. It went through the floor and hit the center of the earth.
Yeah.
But it had quite a large rally afterwards.
Right.
For no reason. Like, it had quite a big pump. So where there's fear, like, you buy. So the way I see it is, well, there seems to be this unbelievable amount of fear about BSV. So therefore, I'm quite happy being in it.
Did you ever get in on Doge?
No, I'm a bit of an anti-memer because I don't see the point of buying something that's useless.
That's true, but it's kind of like
It was hell of a pump.
Oh my God, I'm just looking at it right now, mate. Yeah, I mean, it was just the fact that it was so corny and funny, and people genuinely loved it. They were just like, look, this. I mean, wherever it was at the time, it was literally because the supply was so big and each coin was so cheap. People were just like, I'm literally just buying this, for a joke. On that 1 in a million chance, that everybody loves this thing. They love a little dog. It's a jokey coin. And
I totally agree with you. But the thing is, when that started moving, I was too late.
Yeah, me too.
So I was like, oh. But at the same time, I was like, I don't see the point of buying a coin that's a dog. I have traded some meme coins, but like, I don't get it. Like, I didn't get NFTs. Like, I can screenshot anyone's JPEG, and I've got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I've got the ownership of it. I couldn't give a crap. I couldn't give a crap that the Mona Lisa is in a museum somewhere when I could screenshot on my phone and have it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see the value in it. Like, going back to the Doge thing, like Gala, I heard bits and pieces and read stuff and made a punt on it when it was really low, and it'd already done like a 10x before I bought it. It was just, it had enough steam behind it. It just kept going.
Gee, but that's actually quite a late boomer. That went up in 2021.
Yeah.
Oof. Jeepers.
So I had, I rode that one for a fair bit, but yeah, the Doge one. It also, I knew with Doge that, was it one of the founders, or in Doge a rip off the Bitcoin protocol or something?
Oh,
Am I right in that?
Oh yeah, I mean it generally just ripped it off, but it's got an inflation. Yeah, it's got an inflationary supply.
Yeah, but there's a guy that owns like over half of it or something, or was. There was someone that owned a stupid amount, and I just didn't like that.
Yeah, I mean it's the same with a lot of these shit coins. The founders generally keep kind of like about 50 to 70% for themselves.
Yeah,
and then just put a limited amount on the market for all the for all the paupers to squabble over.
Yeah, I didn't like that, so I just left that.
Jeepers.
But yeah, it's been a mental ride, isn't it?
Yeah,
you've been on a fair ride.
Oh yeah, mate. I went through. I couldn't handle it, mate. Like you. I mean, that's why I was laughing about you saying, you were like, literally a novice going all in. I was the same. I didn't see the point in kind of like, look, if you're going to go in,
go in.
Yeah.
Open the door. We're all in. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, look, if I've made this decision and I'm committed to it, I'm fully committed to it. If I think the opportunity is good, just go in. And it's kind of like, because basically, I mean, I was looking for that. I was looking for that God candle moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Because again, it was because it was just the altcoin phase that was coming out, and everything was just going absolutely crazy, and nobody knew what this thing was. And actually, I was in contact with Craig actually at the time, and I said, look, there are all these coins out there, surely, just like shares, surely there's going to be a few winners out there, one or two, and I literally got a reply straight back from me. It's just like, no. And I was just like, and again, I didn't really get it. And I don't know whether he was doing it on purpose, kind of like actually this was prior to 2020, so he hadn't actually confessed to being Satoshi Nakamoto at the time, but I knew that he was. And I think that's probably one of the reasons he gave me time, because I was just like, well, and he wasn't really on too many people's radars at the time, but I had my suspicions, and I was just like, look, if there's anybody who knows about this stuff, it's this guy, and I agree with absolutely everything he said. So therefore, I need to get his opinion on this question, because I agree with absolutely everything. And then I was just like, look, surely there are gonna be a few, and he was just like, no, there is only gonna be one. And I was just like, that's really odd, because there are like 30,000 of these things on the market,
No, it's ridiculous, like how many there are and what they do and the crap they come up with.
They do nothing.
Exactly.
Well, now I know they do nothing. But I mean, initially, when you look at the market and they've all got these like fancy, professionally made logos, and they're talking the talk about who's involved in the project and the problem that the project is going to solve and all this kind of stuff. And now I look back and I'm just like, oh my god, no wonder it took me such a long time to figure out what's going on, because it's just one massive scam. Massive scam. In fact, it's the biggest financial scam in history, besides the Nixon shock and the US dollar, obviously.
If it goes off, like lots of the people I've told about BSV, and if things come to fruition like they might, and I've had a couple of them going, oh, it'd be so good, I'll be celebrating. I was like, no, don't celebrate, just keep quiet, and just go about your business. Because I said, just because you win, someone loses. And that's something that really hit me when I lost everything. It's like, someone wins, someone loses. And if you want to go out celebrating just because you think, because someone like me went and told them and gave them a hint on something, and they're going to go celebrate and like rub it in someone's face, someone might have lost in close proximity to them, and they're going to be really pissed. And when this goes bang, there's going to be a lot of pissed people.
Oh yeah, mate. Oh my! I mean, can you imagine having billions tied up in BTC? And then somebody gloating that they've now got billions in BSV because it's a genuine Bitcoin and they're a schmuck. Like,
exactly. It's like, if you look at BTC, if BTC, Ethereum, anything goes down, and Tether goes down, it doesn't matter if you think you're safe because you've got Tether, a stable coin, or whether you think you're in BTC and you've got financial gold and that goes down. You're all fucked. They're all fucked. The best thing with BSV is it's so low already. Well, it can't really go much fucking lower. Well, it could.
Well, it can.
But like,
it can.
It can. But it's not like if BSV went from where it is now, $42, $43 to $5, it's gonna hurt, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got $60 or $59,000 to $60,000 BTC, and that goes to $5, well, I know which one I'd rather be holding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's gonna be more than eye watering, isn't it? That's
Oh,
gonna be
God.
like every chick that ever broke up with you, every time you've had a broken heart, everything you've lost, and any broken bones, all combined into one thing.
Well, do you know these bastards have encouraged pension companies to get involved in it?
Yeah, that's sick.
Oh my
That
God.
that's it's worrying. It is really worrying. Because I was talking to someone earlier on today about the GameStop stuff and how that's sort of like maybe Ryan Cohen, who's behind that, might be more corrupt than they thought he was, and he might not be the promised man. And then
Yeah.
we were talking about BSV being like, well, BSV's not really linked to anything.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like GameStop's linked to other stocks because the way the stock market works. So that could bring all that down, but it also can be held up by all the rest of them. Like BSV is like its own thing. It's the only one that really not linked to anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's literally on its own. But if BSV succeeds, and again, I mean, we've spoken about this before. That the Bitcoin miners are going to realize that they need something to economically sustain their mining operations, and and that can only be done with the block fee. There's nothing else that can do it. Whether or not they've swallowed this, the Kool-Aid, the BTC Kool-Aid of your scarcity make number go up. Well, that doesn't seem to be playing out right.
No. There's so many things so fragile at the moment that no one's really putting their finger on. It's like they all think numbers going to go up massively in the crypto market.
Yeah.
We're not in COVID anymore. No one is at home bored with free money to throw around.
Yeah, but monkeypox is coming in.
Yeah, oh, come on. It was bird flu literally 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 3 weeks ago, I was making videos on bird flu. Now monkeypox is here. But do you know what I mean? No one's got any fucking money.
Yeah.
It can't sustain. It like I'm just a simple farmer down in the bottom of the UK, right? And I can see that there isn't the money to pump the market. It is not going over BTC is not going over 100k if it manages to get back over 70.
Well, it depends how much tether. It depends how much tether they want to print. I mean, it's literally just tether that is literally printing pumping BTC and the rest of the market.
But each time they do that, the bubble gets even more fragile, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and traders cash out.
Exactly. So, and did I send you the thing of like that 12,000 BTC that is being put on a sell at what 60 or 65k?
Oh really? Wow, that's a huge amount. I think you did send me that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's like you see a couple of those put in, you've got to start thinking it ain't going over that number.
Yeah.
That's like a very good goalkeeper on a football pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed it is. Like jeepers. The thing is though, I mean, what's nuts is that you'd think that they would do with wanting to sell that, man. You'd maybe do an OTC trade.
Yeah.
Rather than like, in big numbers showing everybody, yep, by the way, if it hits this, that number is going down.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yep. No, it's a fragile bubble. Like the .com era is nothing to what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen that graph that compares it to Tulip Mania, the South Sea Company, and the .com bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, BTC is like 10 times that. 10 times all of them put together. It is insane.
But as I said, I am so happy that I'm not on all these YouTubers sucking up all the information that I was in 2020, 2019, 2018, 2021. I'm so happy I'm not doing that now. And if BSV isn't the ship, I'm happy to go down with it. That's where I put my bet, personally.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I presume you were keeping up to date with Terranode and everything, were you? You know, million transactions per second for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, that is massive.
well, didn't they do 3 million with Aerospike? Were they testing 3 million?
Uh, I think at one point they did. They did spikes of like sort of 3 million transactions per second.
Right.
You know, but they managed 1 million transactions per second consistently, literally consistently for 2 weeks without a single fault. And if you've got a million
Perfect.
transactions per second, the
Yeah.
the block fee goes through the roof. You know, and that's what the miners will be chasing. And literally,
Yeah.
I mean, and that is it. That is what this whole thing is about. You need the block fee to surpass the block reward. That
Yeah.
is it. And then you have an economically self-sustaining system. You know, and
Yeah.
without, you know, non-competitive systems are centrally controlled. And again, there's no way to distribute any tokens if the network is not competitive. If people aren't competing to get the tokens, then you have someone literally dishing them out.
Yeah.
You know, there's no other way. The network has to be economically competitive, and if it's economically competitive, you need something to replace the block reward. Honestly, it's so simple. It does my nut in that, you know, these shitcoiners can't see it. It's just like, oh, you know.
Well, I talked to you about the guy that is a massive BTCer, and I can't even get him to hedge his bets. Right? It's really annoying because I know he's got quite a few BTC. I know he's saving up for a house and everything, and I know he's like hoping it. I tried to get him to sell one at 70k, and he wouldn't do it because he was like, "Oh, it's going higher." And I was like,
hodl.
"Fuck's sake!" Right? And I was like, "Just sell one so you don't lose everything."
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose everything because I got BTC. Oh shit! Right. So I was like, it's like, man, right? Look, how about this? Like, BSV is so cheap. Why don't you just bang like 300 quid on it? You can afford it, right? And you've got a hedge again. You know, I said you're the only guy I know that could win both ways.
Yeah.
Right. And if you think like any of the top stockbrokers, I watch something called the All In podcast, which I find really interesting, which is 4 billionaires talk about what they're investing in and stuff like that.
Right.
And they're all about hedging. Always be both sides of the market if you can. Right? Hedge your bets. I said to him, you're the only person I know who can hedge bets. Buy a small amount of BSV. If I'm right, you win. If I'm wrong, you win.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I see no point in buying anything other than BTC. Fuck. Oh.
Well, you know, mate. Some people are literally just gonna. I mean, he's done well doing what he's doing. You can't blame him.
No,
you know?
like exactly. I said, when you first buy your first one, or about 10 grand, I said, sell one. Like, sell one. you made like 6 times your money. Like, sell one.
I mean, all he needs is the equivalent, you know, Bitcoin that he's got in BTC. And what, you're talking $40 for something that's $40,000?
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, we're talking 1,000x.
Yeah, like just honestly, I've been trying to bang the door down on him for 4 or 5 months now.
Oh my! So literally,
and he will not budge.
Oh dear. Oh wow.
So I went, all right, right, I'll buy you 5 for you. And he was like, oh, you don't have to do that. No, you don't need to worry about it. And I was like, look, I'm just going to do it because I don't want someone to top themselves if it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing. When people lose a lot of money, unfortunately, sick things happen. And I don't wish that on anyone, personally. So
yeah, it's going to be bad.
Being he's a mate of mine, I was like, look, if it all goes, I can message him like, I've got you 5.
Yeah. Well, mate, that's good of you. The world needs more people like you. People need more friends like you. You know.
Well,
done that.
It's just sad that doesn't matter how much information you give people and share with stuff, that some people they just don't want to listen.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, yeah, the powers that be have done an amazing brainwashing campaign. I mean,
Yeah,
literally, what we've been through these last few years, and those people that still can't see what's going on, even when you look at the like you said, the Olympics opening and closing ceremony and all that. Some people just will never see it. It's just like, whoa, it's scary. I mean,
yeah.
even COVID, divided everybody, didn't it? It divided marriages. It
Well,
divided best mates. It divided families. Like,
talking about
oh my god,
talking about the Olympics and opening ceremonies. Do you remember the London Olympic ceremony?
I do. Yeah,
Like when you look backwards, it is so stupidly obvious.
I know.
Right, it is so stupid.
Yeah,
And then you can go all the way back to the Barcelona Olympics. That was weird as well.
it was. Yeah, yeah, all bow worship. You
Yeah,
know.
proper weird mental crap. Like the London one, you suddenly realise, oh, the NHS was celebrating that because there's loads of sick kids on beds and this really weird, evil-looking monstrosity
Yeah,
in the middle. Like,
yeah.
why
Do
can't it be like the Russian one where everyone just has a dance?
do you remember? Do you remember how the commentators commentated on that on death, walking around with that wand or that
Yeah.
needle? Do you remember what they said about it?
No, I don't remember.
They said it was Florence Nightingale.
Oh my! You just can't write it, can you?
Honestly, I was like, that's your artist's impression of Florence Nightingale. Like even the name doesn't match what the fuck I'm looking at there. You know?
I said my mum's quite awake, which I'm lucky about.
Yeah, yeah.
But only to a degree on certain things. But I said to her, I said, "Did you watch the Olympic opening ceremony?" And she was like, "No." And I showed it to her, and she's religious to it, or religious spiritual to a degree as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "What on earth would they do that? What on earth is this about? Why would you do? That's disgusting." And I was like, "I can't believe you didn't see it," but like obviously, but right, I've got a shoot, Tosh.
Mate, that's all right. It's been great. We've actually been going for 1 hour 20 minutes, and I normally cut these things off at 45. But it's been good chatting, mate.
Yeah, no worries. If you want to get me on again, I'm up for it. I'll have a chat about stuff.
Well, there's going to be lots to chat about in the future, mate. So yeah, we'll definitely do this, and then we'll see how many views this got, see how many comments it gets, and then we might get you on again.
Yeah, no worries.
All right,
Awesome.
mate. Cheers for chatting. See you soon, mate.
Cheers, Tosh. Bye bye.
Have a good one. Bye. There we go. So you heard it here, folks. Or you heard it here first, folks. Fuck, can't even speak. Right, so if you enjoy these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to either Satoshi at Sembi.com, Satoshi at Handcash.io, Satoshi at Simply.cash, Satoshi at Relasia.com, RockWallet.me or Senti.ch. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll leave it there. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.